Alright, so I hate intros, so this is my intro. Good job, let's go. So before coming to Italy, I didn't really have a lot of expectations. It was mostly that I thought it was going to be nice, but everything about Italy kind of exceeded my expectations. It was gorgeous, especially the Vatican, St. Peter's Basilica. And in terms of the church, I kind of expected more participation and better singing than there actually was. I didn't really know much about music in church, so I kind of expected it to be like this, like at Loyola, where there was a lot of participation and the choir was amazing. And if anything, I kind of expected more than this because it's Italy, it's the capital. I really wanted to be enveloped by the music and kind of really like feel something out of it. And like Italy itself gave me that, and the churches themselves gave me that because the churches themselves were beautiful, like even more extravagant than Loyola, which I already thought was gorgeous. But for example, like St. Peter's Basilica was gorgeous, but that's not really how it turned out in terms of the music and participation, in terms of the people that were there. Instead, the music was more like this, like kind of, you know, it's kind of shitty, and the participation really just wasn't there for me. I felt like almost no one was participating except for the front row, which just caught me by surprise. So, this was basically my face thinking about this. This surprised look was me just inside because I couldn't fathom that the music was not as good as I expected it to be. But it also allowed me to form my own opinion on what I think good music should be and what it should do for me. Which then brings me to the Sistine Chapel, where we were told to listen to O Magnum Mysterium, and I decided to download two versions of the song, one from the Sistine Chapel Choir and the other from the Cambridge Singers. And what I realized by listening to this in that chapel is what it did for me. There were so many people around me, but this music kind of just cut all of that out. I felt like I was just a singular person in this gorgeous chapel enjoying this beautiful piece of work by Michelangelo. And it was just like a crazy experience because then I took off my headphones after and I realized all these people talking and the security guards screaming, and I was like, wow, I was completely away from that situation. I was somewhere else. And then that realization led to other realizations about what music can do, like the sunset, which was probably one of the most beautiful sunsets that I've ever seen, but it wasn't just because of how it looked, but it was also because there was an amazing guitar player right next to all of us just playing this beautiful song that made the sunset 10 million times better. And I was just in such awe that I did not speak to a single person around me, even though a couple of the girls went with me. And I just stared at the sunset and listened to this guitar player just transported into another world. And then the same thing happened again with this spot in Florence with these bubbles and then the music playing in the background, that beautiful Italian music as the bubbles were flying by. It just added so much to this experience and really it made me think about what was going on and what was going on within myself. And then when I think back about Mass with the Pope, I had kind of a similar experience. The choirs sang amazingly, and the brass really added an interesting elegance to the whole thing. But every single time the Pope took a couple of minutes of complete silence just sitting on his chair, it was very introspective, and I was able to think about myself and what's going on. So for me, that's what I want music to do. That's what I want liturgical music to do. I don't really care as much about bringing people together. I care more about listening to music that can get me to think about myself and look at myself in a new perspective, in a way that it can inspire me to change something in the future and just do something about my life.